I got to change. Okay. We just made the thing. Oh, yeah, you that.
Yes, hi, good day, everyone. We'll be starting next 5 minutes. Next 5 minutes, okay? Thank you. Good afternoon, by the way, manners, yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hmm? No, 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 no. Uh-huh.
Okay, great. Are you all seeing the e-classroom?
Yes, sir.
All right, just making
Yes,
sure.
sir.
All right, cool piece, cool piece. 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Okay, great. I have 4:30, so good afternoon, everyone. A pleasant good day. Hope
Good
you all
afternoon,
are
sir.
enjoying the weather and so on. So a pleasant good day to, let's see. Um, is it Roxanne, Angeli? They interestingly share the same name. Danielle, Diana, Felicia, Janelle, Kaela, Kimberly, Ravina, Chandel, Shania, Swinilia or Swinila sounds better. You could correct me there, Miss Nanal. Which one is it? Swinila or Swinilia?
Nyla.
Swinila. I got it right the second time. There you go. All right, Swinila, Shania, Lucille. Anybody I forgot? Anybody name I didn't call? Let me know.
Natasha.
Natasha, all right. Hello, Natasha. Your voice sounding hale and hearty. I'm not even getting the faintest trace of a cold or anything, which is very good. These days, I think it have a bit of dust in the air, and a lot of persons have a little bit of mucus formation on the voice. But your own sounding clean and clear, just like a whistle, which is interesting. All right. So again, pleasant good day. Today I will
I'm
just be.
here this evening.
Pardon?
I'm here, no gaming.
Who
Dory
that?
Ragu. Dory
Devi?
Ragu.
Devi?
Yeah.
Oh, hi,
Do,
Devi. Who?
Dory Ragu. The phone
Dory.
just stay under that name here.
Okay, there. Okay, hi, Dory. How you going? You good?
I'm for now, thanks.
Any rain over on your side?
No, I think it's hot outside.
Yeah, but I think everybody have some heat today. Today's a hot day. So it's probably a little good as opposed to, the strange weather we've been having. Anybody here had some strange weather by them? Anybody had tornado? Anybody had hail? Anybody had rain where they had to swim through to go by the neighbor? No? All right, good. Fair enough. But yeah, we've been having some special weather. So all that being told, just keep on a good foot where that is concerned and walk with your umbrella. Okay, so first question, let me see. Well, today is a fact-finding mission as well. Anybody not getting into the e-classroom? So we're going to look at that first. E-classroom access. Anybody not getting in? Good. All right. So that means everybody getting in. That is great because that's a big plus because we'll be doing we'll be doing our work through the classroom. So it really is rather nice that everybody is able to get through. Okay, so let's have a look at the classroom itself. And what do we see? Welcome to, so y'all are seeing are you all seeing my cursor moving around by the way?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah? All right. So, right, is excellent. Is a direct copy. So what we are seeing here, week 1, unit 1, the body as a whole, form, function, and life. So this would have been something we would have had a look at last week, right, in terms of unit 1. So what I would want you all, in terms of going forward, one of the things which would be required of you, you'll be following along in the e-classroom in terms of the topics themselves per week, and you would be just doing the activities associated with it. Now let me see. If you notice here, you see quiz, form, function,
Yes,
and
sir.
life. As I mentioned
Yes, sir.
before, this is a practice quiz for you to get a feel for it. So today's practice quiz begins at what time?
6 p.m.
It begins at 6 p.m. and it finishes at what time?
11:59.
11:59. So does that mean you have to start at 6 and finish at 11:59? Absolutely
No,
not.
sir.
Because actually it's 10 questions. Now if I click on it, if it'll actually come forward, let's have a look. See? So anytime somebody click on it, and you'll see it come up like this, right? Is 20 minutes. I was speaking falsehoods. 20 minutes. I want to say it's 10 questions. 10 questions, 20 minutes. So you're just going through what all the questions, and you just have one attempt. As I said, it's just a revision exercise. It's just for you to get a feel for it. So from the next day, though, it will begin to actually count. So there's just a practice exercise today, just for you to get a feel for it. And it was based, of course, on this chapter 1, the first one which you went through last week, in terms of when we looked at anatomical terms and the like. Now, everybody got, and the other thing I want to ask, in terms of the lecture, everybody got a lecture last week?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Next question. Everybody on WhatsApp? Sorry, go
Yes,
ahead.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Somebody had a question they were going to ask. I cut
Yes,
you off.
sir.
Go ahead, please. Somebody,
That was me. I was going to ask you in terms of, I went on the e-classroom last night and I saw it posted there, there's an activity at the bottom. Should we be doing that activity?
all right, so we got into that. We're going down the list now. We're coming down the list. So I'll address that question shortly. If I don't, let me know, okay? In terms of, we coming down here. All right. I wonder if was it a practice quiz with 5 questions on it?
No, sir.
No, the activity was keep that down here.
What was the
You
mean the activity
form, function.
here?
Yeah.
You mean this one, the activity
Yes,
worksheet,
sir.
form, function, and life? Yes, so let's have a look at it. But I was coming to that, yeah. All right, it's coming up. All right, it's here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pulling it up, the activity. Hold on just 1 second. I know there's a way. I'm not seeing the option. Disable, share computer sound. Okay. All right, so let's. I'm not seeing. The little activity works. Oh, it's now coming up. Are you all seeing it, by the way? The activity worksheet? Nothing yet on your side?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. No, sir.
So I have it printed in front of me.
Who's that one?
Natasha.
What you're saying? Well done, Natasha. Clairvoyance and clairvoyance in terms of vision, right? And, right, so you have the worksheet in front of you. It's coming up, but it's just giving a. I don't know why it disappeared. I just saw it, but now it disappeared again. You know, some kind of thing coming. Let's try it again. It was so nice. Let's do it twice. Why is it not opening? And it's a small document. Okay, we're trying them again. Come on, come on. Opening in protected view. I don't know why it's doing that, but we'll have a look. Come on, come on. Okay, here we go. I'm guessing y'all are not seeing it.
No, sir.
Excellent, good, because then that would have been something beyond my realm if you'd have been able to see it. That would have been the realm of necromancy. Okay. Let me bring it over for you to see. So we'll be going through it. There's a sheet I'll go through it with you all today. And the next thing, what we'll be doing, the next time you will go through the other one. So the worksheet, just to give you an idea of what is expected of you. Yeah. Okay. So let's go through this worksheet. Okay, my cursor just giving a little trouble. No, not that one I want to pick up. No, this I want to pick up. Come on, come on, come on. You can do it. There you go. You all seeing it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Yes,
So,
sir.
all right. So this would have been a worksheet. So normally every week, what you would do, you would do the worksheet and you would bring it with you to. It would be due then at the class time, which would be I would set that class time at 2 p.m. All right. So it will be due 2 p.m. on class day. In terms of your worksheet, I'll send you an email with this information on it. I could write it down as well. So going forward, every week, you just complete the worksheet. And in terms of getting it to me now, I probably would like, I would want to do, I can't do it as a Google Docs. That wouldn't make any sense because everybody would have access to it. You just have to email it to me. I will do, anyhow, you guys, for now, just bring it to class. We'll speak to that in terms of anything different. So as a means of revision, let's just go over what we looked at previously. And let's just go through this. So everybody will be piping in terms of this activity sheet. I would send you all, I would do that, do that sooner rather than later. In terms of the breakdown, how much these activity sheets would be worth in terms of the overall contribution to your grade. All right, but wait a minute. Yeah, I'll do that. So let's go. In terms of revision, so question number 1, distinguish between the terms anatomy and physiology. Anybody want to help me out? Anatomy and physiology, what's the terms there? What's the difference or distinguish between them? A and P?
Anatomy is studied with structure. Is it
Yep, just anytime you see a question related to anatomy and physiology, do remember the name of the course you're doing. What's the name of the course you're doing?
Structure and function.
Structure and function of the human body, anatomy and physiology. So anatomy refers to structure and physiology refers to function. So in other words, if you were looking at the heart, in terms of the anatomy, we'd be talking about, let's say, the different layers of the heart, what tissue type makes up the heart, cardiac tissue, and so on. But if you were talking about the physiology, you're talking about the function. What does it do? So what does the heart do? It pumps blood around through the cardiovascular system as a major function. All right, so that's the difference there. Good. List 2 examples of structures that are studied on 1, the macroscopic, and 2, the microscopic level.
Cells and tissues are studied on a microscopic level.
microscopic level?
All right, so
And
yes,
the
Natasha, go
And
ahead.
and the anatomy is studied on a macroscopic level. Bones are studied. Well, I had an example. Bones are studied on a macroscopic level. They are visible. Well, macroscopy means visible by the naked eye without magnifying optical instruments.
Right. So
cells
bones
and tissues.
I think what you want to say,
cytology.
if I could add on to you there, is Natasha.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You wanted in terms of bones, you're referring to whole bones like in a skeleton, yeah?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Right, as opposed because bones in and of itself is made up of tissue as well.
Yes.
Right,
yes.
so you just have to differentiate between the two when we're stating it. So it would be good just to add in that part. Bones as really, and you could put like skeleton in brackets, yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead in terms of macroscopic level, but you're quite right so far. So please continue.
I had put cells and tissues are studied on a microscopic level. Cells, they studied on its cytology, and the tissues, they studied on its histology.
Right, very good, excellent word. Right, so in terms of the use of the microscope, yeah, those are some examples of the use of the microscope in terms of those studying things which are not visible with the naked eye. Then you'll use the microscope, whereas bigger things, as Natasha quite rightly said, in terms of things like whole bones, in terms of joints, you can see those things, and those are studied at the microscope, macroscopic. So macro, right, meaning large, and micro referring to small. Could you think of another word beginning with micro that means really small, other than microscope and microscopic? Any other words? Micro?
Microbiology?
Microbiology, I like that, yeah. Because here it is, you're looking at things which are invisible to the naked eye. Microbiology, I like that one, really small. Anything else? And of course, for microbiology, the favorite tool of microbiologists is, of course, our good friend, the microscope. Yeah.
Microscope.
All right. So good. Anybody else had anything for number 2? All right, good. So we address those things. Let's look at number 3. Let's 3 different fields of study in physiology. Well, that would have been a tricky one. Anybody? 3 different fields of study in physiology.
So I don't want to huff the class.
Not at all. You go right ahead. Go right ahead.
I don't know if I'm wrong, but my 3 different fields of study in physiology was clinical physiology, exercise physiology,
yes,
and nutrition physiology, and then I expanded on what the 3 are.
Right, clinical, exercise, and nutrition physiology, and you've hit the nail on the head, right? So there are different subdivisions that come under physiology, and among them being clinical, exercise, and nutrition. Very good. You know, you're quite right. Let's go on to the next one. Question 5. What is the difference between form and function?
No, so it still have an next one.
Number 4.
Oh, it's 4. You give me 3.
4 characteristics.
Number 4.
Oh, I jump over 4. I was just checking to see if you're paying attention. Very good. So question 4. Describe the 4 characteristics of living things. So what are 4 characteristics of living things? And just to remind you all, this session is being recorded. And, you know, by tomorrow lunchtime, it will be sent to you as a YouTube video. Yes. So describe the 4 characteristics of living things. Let me hear you.
Reproduction.
Reproduction.
Metabolism.
Metabolism.
Growth.
Adaptation.
Growth.
Homeostasis.
Growth. Homeostasis is maintenance of a constant internal, which is true, and that does
regulations.
And homeostasis, by its very nature, while it is true, it falls under other things like growth, control of the internal environment, control of digestion. So homeostasis is really an umbrella term, but it is quite. If you did put it, you wouldn't be incorrect. So we have the major ones though: reproduction, metabolism, growth. Anything else? Organization.
And adaptation.
Organization and adaptation. All right. Anything else?
Respiration, movement.
Respiration, movement. Now, in answering this question, I think it's best to go back. You know, there's this term, some of us might have remembered it from our common entrance days, or if you did science in high school and so on, Grimner. I don't know if you remember that term, Grimner. Anybody remember that? Grimner.
So that is what I used to answer my question.
Pardon?
Growth. This is on.
Okay, just hold on 1 second. Yeah, we'll get to Grimner. Somebody was just asking me something about, I didn't answer the question. Yes?
Oh, no, sir. I was just saying that is what I used to answer my question.
Oh, I now understand what you're saying. Okay, good. So if we were to use that, so in other words, using Grimner, you could choose 4 from Grimner to answer a question. And in terms of Grimner, what does it stand for? So I cut across somebody just now. I'm not seeing your name swapping up. So the G in Grimner stands for?
Growth.
Growth. Is growth important?
Yes.
What would happen if we didn't grow? Growth, of course, implies what? When you say something is growing, what if you had to use one word to describe growth, what word would that be?
Alive.
Alive. Okay, that's one word. Anybody? Anything else to describe growth?
Strength.
Strength. That's another word. Anything else?
Adaptation.
Adaptation. Development. I like development. We're getting closer with development. Anything else with growth? One word for growth.
Increase.
Increase. We're getting warmer. Yes. If we don't go anything else, we'll go with increase. So growth.
Adult. It was adult or adult and like the
increase. So all of those things. What I really wanted to get at, I know you all are thinking, you know, oh, what words I could use, you know, use them words. I was thinking about bigger. When something got grow, they got bigger. Right? So increase would have been the one. All the things mentioned before were correct, but the nail on the head would be bigger. When you get growing or growth, you get bigger or increase in either volume or surface area. So most critically, in terms of growth, growth is usually measured in terms of things getting bigger or larger. All right. The R, what does the R in Grimner stand for?
Respiration.
Is respiration.
Reproductive.
Well, we have two R's, so we'll go with
Yeah.
the first one. We'll say respiration. So by extension, you already answered the other R, which is reproduction. So let's go with the first one first. Respiration. Why do we need to breathe? And I think I addressed this in the last class.
All living things respire. So
Why? Why do we need
Because
that oxygen for?
The energy.
Carry.
to create
Be a little more
energy.
specific. Energy.
Break down.
I hear somebody saying a nice word there, breakdown. Put a little gravy on that
Break
rice. Your rice looking
down, something
white.
like that.
Break down what?
Break down the chemical. Is it chemicals?
Simplify it. You're quite right, but simplify it. So you're getting real specific, but get general now. So we use it to break the chemicals in terms of where would we find these chemicals?
In food?
In
Thank you
food?
very much. Yeah. And that is the bottom line while we take in oxygen to break down food, right? And I think I mentioned it to you, glucose at the level of the cell, glucose plus oxygen gives you what? Carbon dioxide as a waste product, water as a waste product, but most critically, energy. Energy in the form of 3 letters. And what are those 3 letters?
ATP.
ATP, right? Adenosine triphosphate. And the important thing about ATP, if you were to compare ATP with something that you have, what ATP most closely resembles? Something that you'll have in your purse or your wallet.
A bank card.
A bank card, right? Universally accepted. So you could take it, you could go by Rattan, you could go by Royal Castle, you could go by PTSC, you could go by, where else you could go? KFC. Yeah, today is what, Super Tuesday by KFC? Yeah, well, you know, today's Super Tuesday. Yeah, today's Super Tuesday. Where you getting today by KFC? Is 6 piece of chicken or something like that? 6 piece for 6 meal.
Oh, the 9-piece.
Oh, it's 9 pieces, $60, right? So you could go by KFC, you could use your bank card, and it is accepted. They'll take the money out, and then you could do what? You could go by Rattan and buy a handbag or a hat, and it is accepted there. So the thing with ATP, similarly in the body, it's a universally accepted currency of energy in your body. It is you could use it anywhere. So you could use it for muscle contraction in your eye, to look left and right, to move your eye, or you could use it to stand on your tiptoes. So down in your toes, muscle contraction there. So it's also used there. So very important, ATP, energy, universal currency of energy in the body. Very good. So we talk about respiration, I. Now what the I in Grimner stands for?
Irritability.
And what does irritability mean? One word.
Irritability.
One word.
Sensitivity?
Yes. Actually, that's a better word than what I was thinking about. I was thinking about movement, but sensitivity is even better because sensitivity implies a response. You all know it have a plan they call what? Mary, Mary, shut your window or shut your door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You all know that one? Or I'm talking foolishness? What's the name of the plant? And they call it the sensitive plant now. When you touch it, it closes. The leaves close up.
Closes.
And it shows off what some pickers, right? So if it is, let's say a cow is grazing and it comes across this plant, right? When it touches it, it closes up. And if it looks to bite it, what happened? The picker will juke the cow on the tongue. So the cow knows, you know what? Memory. I remember this happened. Same thing happened to me yesterday. I ain't going to let this happen again, and it will avoid that plant. So it's a defense mechanism. It moves the leaves to show up the pickers, right? So that if something is looking to consume it, you know, it will encounter these sharp parts of the plant and it will move away. All right. So irritability is really a movement in response to some stimulus. So just like with the tamari plant, you touch it, it closes up. Let's see how does that relate to the human body? In terms of irritability, what organ system controls irritability in the human body? The major one. There's one.
So the skin.
It comes under the skin, yes, and as part of it.
The nervous system.
Thank you very much, the nervous system. And I know why you said skin. And you are quite right, because in the skin, there are you do have nerves. And in fact, you also, if you look at the cross-section of the skin as well, you have two particular structures, Meissner's corpuscles, right, and the Pacinian corpuscles, and you also have nerve endings in the skin as well. So it does, when you said skin, you're not totally wrong. You were referring to the sensitivity. And let me give an example. So let's say you're home and you're making what? You're heating up something. You're making roti. And you have your tower there. How you know your tower hot? How you check to see the tower hot?
You touch it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, some of these seasoned people who are accustomed working with tower, they don't touch it. But what you do is bring your hand very close to it, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right, you bring it close and you actually feel the heat. All right. What would be a safer way? Because as quite rightly, as the person just mentioned, your colleague there, if you touch it, what happens? You run the risk of
Immediately
getting what?
cold.
You get burned.
And when you get burned, what happens immediately? As soon as you touch it, does your hand stay
You
there
pull
and,
back.
then you
pull
start
back
to
your
smell?
hand.
You pull
You
back.
start to smell barbecue meat.
Reflexes,
You
reflex.
get a reflex action, right? So in other words, usually when you think about it, thought processes occur at the level of the brain, right, within your cerebral hemispheres. So normally what would happen, you know, if you're thinking about something, the thought process, let's say you do get an impulse, you know, so for instance, when we think about sight, the visual cortex is located more to the back of the skull, in the base of the skull, and similarly to the back of the brain, distal to the frontal part of the brain. So when you're looking at something, the light impulse goes in the eye, travels along the optic nerve, and then it goes into that area of the brain which processes it, looks at it and say, I wonder if I could compare it to something. Yes, I could. That looks like a box of KFC, right? And then it goes into your conscious thought that yes, I am looking at a box of KFC, right? So similarly, now the thing is, that is all well and good. It takes a short space of time for that to happen. But sometimes, you know, that short space of time is not short enough in terms of the stimulus exciting certain cells. In this case, when you're looking at something, the cells within your eye, I know they're sending this electrical impulse to the part of the brain that processes the signal, then sends a response to the other part of the brain, you know, which tells it what is happening. So when you touch a hot tower or anything hot, the length of time it takes for the stimulus to go from your hand all the way up to the part of the brain that processes that information is too long. It takes too long, right? So what happens instead? You have a built-in mechanism where the thought process occurs at the level of the spinal cord. Now, I asked this question last week. Is the spinal cord detached from the brain? Or is it one continuous part?
One.
Continuous part.
Yeah, it's one continuous part. What would happen if the spinal cord was detached from the brain? One word. Begins with P.
Paralyzed.
Yeah,
Paralysis.
very good. You'd be paralyzed. You'd have some degree of paralysis. Right, I see somebody there in the waiting room. Right? You'd have some degree of paralysis. So that's why it's very important, right, in terms of the brain, that certain things happen very quickly. So we have already established the spine is part of the brain. So when you touch certain things or when you encounter certain things that hurt or which could render or give you harm in a very short space of time, it doesn't send it all the way up to the cerebellum. It doesn't to your brain. It happens at the level of your spine, and that is known as a spinal reflex. We'll speak more to that when we look at the nervous system in greater detail in a couple of weeks. But you do have the spinal reflex. So in other words, that impulse in terms of the processing, right, of sending a response to move away a hand, doesn't go to the brain, happens at the level of the spine, all of that information processing, right? And as you're well aware, you touch something hot, you move away a hand quickly. Is there any other situation where you'll move away a hand very quickly other than you touch something hot? What else? When else would you move your hand away quickly to touch something?
Excuse, sir.
Yes?
Stinging
Sorry.
arm.
So I have a class now, right?
Okay, not a
So
problem. We mentioned it would be recorded, so you could look at it later. Thanks for telling me. Do have a good one. Okay? Take care. All right. Yep. Who's this one? Diane? Or Roxanne?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I thought it was Diane. Oh, no, who was just talking to me? I didn't quite catch it. Okay, it's all good. Let's continue. So in terms of the reflex action, it occurs at the level of the spine. It doesn't go all the way to the brain, as you have this reflex action occurring at the level of the spine, and that is very important, all right? So back to the Grimner. So that was irritability in terms of response. Give me another occasion when you'll move your hand away quickly, when you touch something. When would that occur?
So this happened to me once, right?
Right.
I was petting a dog, but like the dog he kind of way so like probably a pet a bad side, and he
Growl at you.
spin back to bite me. So
Yeah.
So my hand just one time
Pull
move
back.
from him one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just pull it back right away. And you probably didn't even think about it, like a reflex action. Growl, you know, and you just pull it away. And now would that be an example of a reflex action which occurs at the level of the spine? I want to say no, because, and I'll tell you why, even though it does happen rather quickly, right? You're seeing it and you're hearing the impulse. So all of those processes in terms of the processing occurs at the level of the brain in an instance like that, right? It wouldn't occur at the level of the spinal cord, but even though you do pull away, it is a reflex action, but those will occur at the level of the brain itself. So it does happen quickly, right? But the ones that happen really, really fast, so you mentioned the heat, and like if you touch something sharp, you know, like a pin, you know, or if you get a joke, you know, so the stimulus is actually coming from that area, and you'll pull it away right away. So for instance, if you touch a picker or you touch a needle, you know, like say, so when the needle touches your hand, you pull it away. So without even, you could be not even looking at your hand, right? And that would happen, you know, in terms of pulling it away.
Static?
Pardon?
Static?
Static? Electricity?
Yeah. Yeah.
In terms of a response to static electricity, I hear what you're saying. If it is, let's say,
Yeah.
you get a and you touch it and you feel the jolt. I never got that before, but I would want to say, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, in terms of response to static electricity, if you do touch something and you get that jolt at your finger, yeah, that would be static. Now back to the previous person who mentioned the growling dog. That could come under the rubric, to the best of my knowledge, of something that is learned. All right, you know, of a learned reflex action. So what do I mean by that? If you were to take a baby, and I'm just saying this for experimental reasons, please don't go home and take somebody popo and do this. If you take a baby and let's say you put it by a dog, no, that's a bad thing, because one of the reflexes we're actually born with is in response to loud noises. It's a reflex action. So even if you put a baby by a dog and the dog growls, you will get a reflex action in terms of a pullback. Does it happen at the level of the spine? I'm not sure. But that's an interesting question. I'll have to do a little more. I'll have to revisit that topic. Who asked that question about the growling dog, right? Because with a baby, it will pull back, retract from a growl, and that is one of the things we are born with. In terms of babies, there are two things: a fear of falling and a fear of loud noises. That's the only two things. Reflexes you're born with. Well, I know what you're saying, the suckling reflex, most critically, they're born with that. But it's a fear of loud noises and a fear of falling, notwithstanding the suckling reflex. Those are the three that you're born with. Everything else is learned. So I would have to get back to you on that one in terms of your little adventure with the dog, if that is indeed occurs at the level of the spine. Okay, let's get back to Grim now. GRIM. What does the M stand for?
Movement.
Movement. Is movement important?
Yes.
What would happen if we didn't move? One word.
Static.
Static. What would happen? Okay. So if we didn't move, what would happen to us as an individual? What happened if we didn't move? Dot, 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 dot.
You would eventually die.
Thank you very much. You'll die. Think about it, you know, from a long term. Let's just say that same bad dog went and get his posse and they come back for you. Yeah, if you didn't be able to hightail it and move, yeah, you'll become a KFC six-pack, right? So very importantly, movement is very critical for maintenance of life when you think about it, all right? And nutrition, is that important?
Yes.
So what is important about nutrition?
Because I think if we don't get nutrients from the food we eat, we won't have development, we won't have growth.
Right? Most critically from nutrition, we extract ATP and also, as you rightly say, nutrients and minerals as well. Certain minerals that are very important in terms of acting as catalysts at the level of processing those metabolic reactions which occur in our bodies. They do need certain minerals for them to occur properly. So that's why it's critical that we do have to get nutrition or to eat. And the next one, E, excretion. Is that important?
Yes.
All right, good,
No,
Natasha.
because all the toxins will remain in the body.
What would happen if the toxins remain in your body? Dot, 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 dot.
You'll have total organ shutdown.
Dot, 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 dot.
And you will die.
You'll die.
Yes.
Yeah. You would have, quite rightly, as Natasha said there, you will have you would get systemic failure. Your organs will begin to shut down one by one, right? And until ultimately dot 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 dot, that's the end of the show. All right. So most critically, it is important to get rid of those waste products. Right. So in terms of answering the question, then 4 characteristics of living things. We did leave out reproduction. Sorry. Reproduction, is that important? Oh yeah. That's the reason why we're here. We're here to reproduce from a biological perspective. That's what we do. What would happen if we didn't reproduce? One word.
Extinction.
Extinction. You'll become extinct and you disappear. Right? No passage of your genetic material down the line and you disappear as a species. So that's why it's critical to reproduce. So choose any of those 4 to answer number 4 in terms of the characteristics of living things. Let's go to 5. What is the difference between form and function? Well, we mentioned it at the top of the class. Form relates to what word?
Structure.
Anatomy.
Anatomy, and function refers to?
Physiology.
Physiology. Right? So what's the difference between those two? Somebody could use an organ in the body as an example. Could you tell me the difference between form and function? Let me throw out one for you. Your heart. Could you tell me the difference between form and function as it relates to the heart? Let me hear another. Natasha, I like how you're contributing. I hope you're mad with me. I won't put you down. I'm telling you to put down your hand for a little bit. I hope you're mad with me, right? Let's see if we can hear somebody else. Thank you very much for all the contributions, and I will be calling you on you again. All right, Natasha?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Let's hear some new voices. Difference between form and function. Very well done, Natasha. Keep it up. Difference between form and function using an organ in the body, the heart. So when we talk about the form of the heart, what are we referring to?
We're referring to the makeup of the heart.
Right, the makeup of the heart, yeah. In terms of how it's made up, right? So, you can talk about, what are some of the parts of the heart? Let me hear. There are 2 chambers, the aorta, which is the vessel, so it could refer to, let's say, the blood vessels that leave it, the aorta, right? And what about some of the...
Left ventricle, right ventricle.
Right, the atria and the ventricles, which are some of the chambers in the heart. I have a question, and this is open floor, so Natasha can answer as well. There's a pulmonary vein. Now, the pulmonary vein carries oxygenated or deoxygenated blood. If I were to ask you that.
Deoxygenated.
The pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood. Yeah, very good.
Yes,
so in terms of blood returning from the lungs, is actually returned to the heart via the pulmonary vein. Now, that is odd. Normally is it not that veins usually carry deoxygenated blood? Yes. So why is it that the pulmonary vein, or why do they call it that, even though it's carrying oxygenated blood? Anybody knows why? It's because of another definition related to arteries and vein, why they call it the pulmonary vein. So notwithstanding the fact that arteries carry oxygenated blood and veins carry deoxygenated blood in terms of the general definition, what is another definition as related to arteries and vein as it relates to the heart? In terms of leaving the heart, what vessels leave the heart? Arteries or veins? Somebody mentioned the aorta, the major one. So arteries leave the heart, and what brings back blood to the heart? Namely the inferior and superior vena cava. Veins. In terms of another definition, arteries take blood away from the heart veins, bring it back. So therefore, when you look at the pulmonary vein, where is it bringing back the blood from? From the lungs to the heart. And they use that definition. That's why they call it the pulmonary vein and not the pulmonary artery, because blood is actually returning to the heart. And therefore, they use that definition in terms of the returning part to name it the pulmonary vein. So there's the only exception in the body. The pulmonary vein is the only time you'd find that oxygenated or blood which is significantly oxygenated. That's the only time it's carried in a vein, the pulmonary vein. But everywhere else, the arteries are the ones that contain oxygenated blood, okay? Or at least blood with a significant amount of oxygen in it. Good. So when we look at this structure and function, in terms of form and function, the difference, we mentioned form, you'll be looking at, let's say, the how the heart is made up, the atria and the ventricles, the vessels, or the veins and arteries leaving it. And the function, what is the major function of the heart? What does it do?
Pump the blood throughout the body.
Circulates blood.
Throughout the body. Yeah. What would happen if you didn't? Could you live without a heart?
No.
No. If you ever find somebody without a heart walking, if it is you in theater and they open up somebody's chest, you know, the abdominal cavity, and you don't see a heart, right? Or if it is, let's say, in a more realistic setting, let's say they send, you know, the person down to, or you as a nurse, let's put it like this, you sound in the chest and you're not hearing any heartbeat, and you check both the left and the right side of the sternum or the breastbone, and you're not hearing any heartbeat, but the person saying, hey, everything okay there? What do you do next? You're not hearing any heartbeat. What would you do?
But then would that person even be alive if you don't hear heartbeat?
Okay, no, you're saying, okay, I hear what you're saying, and you'll see the significance why I ask it. Before you even reach there, what would you do? You have your stethoscope, you know, you check both the left side and the right side of the breastbone, sternum, you got no heartbeat. What's the next thing you should do?
Try to resuscitate them.
Resuscitate, all right. What's the next thing you should do? You check for heartbeat, you get no heartbeat. What would you do? 3 letters.
Try to resuscitate them.
No, you run. You
CPR,
run.
you try CPR.
No.
CPR?
No. You run. You run far and you run fast.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, of course.
But then,
because that's not possible. So here it is,
exactly.
You sound them on both sides, left and right. You're hearing nothing. Absolutely quiet. And the person talk, everything okay? You run all the, if you're in San Fernando General Hospital, you run all the way up the promenade and wait until you reach Library Corner, and then you call somebody, you go and check on that person. But yeah, it have certain things in life that, you know, your instinct kicks in. Wait, now I'm not hearing any heartbeat. Run. I say that in jest, of course, but you know, all the things which you all did mention is quite correct. But in terms of resuscitation, you don't go into CPR if the person is conscious. You don't do that, right? That's one of the things. They usually have to be unconscious. So you wouldn't want to start any CPR, but it definitely would be exceedingly odd if it is. And usually if something is exceedingly odd, you know, you'll feel the hairs on the back of your neck standing up. Yeah, follow that instinct. Run. Okay, let's go forward. Number 6, which life characteristic is represented by each of the following? Removing your hand from well, we mentioned these already. Well, we mentioned that one. Removing your hand, that is irritability. Preventing stomach acid from entering the bloodstream. What does that
organization
mean? What life characteristic? So we're looking at the Grimner model again. So under Grimner, which one would that fall under? If you use the Grimner model, GRIMNER, relating to growth, respiration, irritability, movement, nutrition, excretion, and reproduction, which one would preventing stomach acid from entering the bloodstream? What would that fall under? Let me hear a new voice. Thank you, Natasha. Let me hear a new voice. You want me to call out somebody, or you will volunteer answer? I hear some people quiet.
Excretion, sir.
Excretion? Stretch and say that. Might have one a little better than excretion in that case.
So can I ask a question?
You surely can.
I had organization.
Well, if you didn't fall, if you said organization, you wouldn't be wrong in that regard because it didn't follow the Grimner model. But I am specifically asking for the answer to come
For the
from
Grimner,
within. Yeah.
okay.
So it wouldn't be wrong if you said preventing stomach acid and you say organization. Yeah, that would have to do with it, right?
So is that no movement?
No.
No.
Well, I hear what you're saying in terms of, it has one that better than movement. So let me see if somebody else can get under Grimner, GRIMNER, preventing acid from entering. Yes?
Is it nutrition?
Thank you very much. Right? Usually when you see things related to the stomach, the first thing that should come to mind is food. Right? Food and then, of course, by extension, nutrition. So preventing stomach acid from entering the bloodstream, that is nutrition. Nutrition, the acid, yeah, because the acid chyme is within the stomach walls itself. You have mucus being secreted to prevent digestion of the stomach walls itself. And because if that does happen, the acid could get into the bloodstream. And if the acid gets into the bloodstream repeatedly, it leads to the development of a certain structure in the stomach wall. And what is that known as? It begins with a U. If the stomach wall is constantly being eroded by stomach acid, it could lead to the formation of what?
Ulcers.
Ulcers, very good. Yeah, an ulcer, right? An ulcer, my understanding, is quite painful, and it's rather special, where that is concerned. All right. Being pregnant with identical twins, what under Grimner, what does that fall under?
Reproduction.
Reproduction, very good.
Reproduction.
Building glycogen from glucose, that is nutrition as well. We mentioned that. Growth, respiration, everybody movement, nutrition, excretion. Yeah, good. Let's look at number 7. What is the highest level of organization in the human and what is the smallest?
Say excuse.
Yes, go ahead.
I stepped away for a little while. I just want to confirm. The removing your hand from a hot stove. What was the answer for that one?
Irritability. And just to remind you all, the session is being recorded, so you could do a talk back on it. But that's irritability in terms of removing something from the stimulus. The stimulus is the heat, so you remove it quickly, and it's a special characteristic that falls under a specific rubric that is known as a reflex arc. It's a reflex arc that occurs at the level of the spine that causes you to move your hand away.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
With the building glycogen, polysaccharide from glucose, monosaccharide molecules, that wouldn't be, it wouldn't be like metabolism?
Yes, it will fall under metabolism, which all metabolism and digestion, that would come under nutrition. Yeah, because it is. Okay. And that happens, of course, in terms of building, let's say, glycogen in the liver, right, from glucose. That is usually the liver is associated with that, but that would come under, digestion. Okay, I have to break it down to build it up. Correct.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Go right ahead.
I have an emergency. Can I leave?
You surely can. And as I mentioned, by tomorrow, 4 p.m., the YouTube video of this session will be posted in WhatsApp.
Okay, thank you.
All the best, and thanks for letting me know. Let's go forward. And I hope it's nothing too serious on your side, right? Go with God. Number 7, what is the highest level of organization in the human, and what is the smallest? So the smallest is which one?
Tissues, cells.
Cells.
We can go smaller than cells?
Chemicals.
Chemicals. We can go smaller than chemicals?
No.
And whenever we talk about it last day, we mentioned atoms last day. Atoms and molecules.
Yes.
Atoms.
Yeah. Atoms and molecules.
Molecules, yeah.
Yeah. So that the chunky is the atoms. But you're partially right when you do say cells, because cells are really small. And I understand, wait a minute, highest level of organization in the human. I hear what you're saying in terms of, you wouldn't be too wrong to actually say cells, You're looking at the organization from an organic perspective. Yeah, so cells would be correct, but what would be more correct if you go to the level of, let's say, molecules and atoms. But if you say cells, you would be right. Yeah, because depending on which textbook you do look in, you will see cells as the smallest organizational level. Yes, so in a case like that, I would take either cells or atoms and molecules as the answer. Number 8, 11 organ systems, components and major functions. What is the one word we mentioned for organ system?
Unslice.
Unslice, RRM, or Mr. R, right?
Yeah.
UNSLICED. We'll go with Mr. R. Sounds good. What does the U stand for?
Urinary.
Urinary.
And the urinary system is associated with what organ?
Kidneys.
Kidneys, right?
Kidneys.
Very good. Right? Right. Maintenance of water content. N.
Nervous
Nervous system. We mentioned
the
that
brain,
just
spinal cord.
spinal cord in terms of the central nervous system. And then you have the periphery, referring to all of the nerves that come off of the central nervous system. We'll speak more to that when you look at the nervous system itself. S.
Sensory.
Right, Natasha mentioned that at the top of class, skeletal system, right?
Bones.
Bones referring to
Bones,
bones.
cartilage, ligaments.
Very good. L.
Bone marrow. Lymphatic.
Lymphatic system. Lymphatic is very important. Why is lymphatic important?
It's a circulatory.
Blood.
Is it?
The lymphatic, right? Well, it
So
has to do,
it fights against disease and stuff.
Blood.
right? In
Tissue
terms,
fluid.
right? All of the things
And
that
also the movement of tissue fluid as well.
everything you all said there is quite correct. So there's tissue fluid, right? And that is an important supplement to the blood, right? So tissue fluid, when it is that too much fluid is present in the blood, it will be routed to the lymphatic. And if it's excessive amount, of course, it will be routed through the kidneys in terms of you producing urine to get it out. The lymphatic, so therefore, one of the things it does is in terms of maintenance of tissue fluid within your body. The other thing as well, lacteals, it absorbs fats, because fats are too large to be usually absorbed within the capillary walls associated with the stomach lining. So when you eat, let's say, fat, right, and it's being absorbed in the stomach, it's a little tricky to get through the capillary wall. But the lacteal or the cells associated with the lymphatic, they're a little bigger in terms of the spacing. So therefore, that's why fats could be taken up in the lymphatic, and it is, right? In terms of lacteals, they take up the fat. And the other thing with the lymphatic system, the repository of the immune system, particularly white blood cells, the T cells and the B cells as well, they are usually found there. So that's very important where that is concerned. UNSLI, I stands for? Integumentary. And what is integumentary? Refers to which parts?
Skin, epidermis, and the dermis.
Epidermis and dermis, which is part of the skin. You're quite right. So skin, I hear somebody say here, and also nails, right? When you look at nails actually are derived from epithelial. They're epithelial in origin, and you'll find the nail bed actually starts off in the epidermis, right? So it's very important there in terms of skin, hair, and nails, in terms of the integumentary. C.
Circulatory or cardiovascular.
Yeah, cardiovascular is a better word, because circulatory, one could argue that respiration is a circulatory system, right? Even though lymphatic is one way, some people might argue that the movement into the blood and then it returning into the lymphatic, it could argue that it is a rudimentary circulatory system. So it's better to say cardiovascular. So cardiovascular. And what is the cardiovascular system important for?
The heart.
What's the major function of the cardiovascular system? Bottom line, two words. The cardiovascular system, what does it do?
Transport blood.
Thank you very much. I like it. Transport blood, or it moves blood. That's what it does. The cardiovascular. That's the only thing it does. It moves blood all everywhere. Of course, you could get, more detailed, but the major function, it just moves blood. Very good. E, endocrine.
Endocrine.
What is usually associated with endocrines? A word that begins with H.
Hypothalamus.
Hormones.
Hormone. I was thinking about hormones.
Hormones.
In terms of regulation by the hypothalamus, all right, I'm not mad with you, right? The pituitary, of course, is the master gland, right? But in terms of the endocrine, I was thinking of hormones. That's how it acts usually in terms of release of different types of hormones. D, digestive. Is that important?
Digestive.
Yeah.
What does the digestive system do? 3 letters. Sorry, 3 letters. Sorry, 3 words.
No God.
Circulate food.
Digest.
Go ahead.
Ingest food, digest food.
I like it. Digest food. That is two. So you did it even better than me. I
Circulate
was looking at
food.
three. I was thinking about breakdown food, but digest
Yeah.
food is even better, right? Because digestion implies breakdown. So you're very right there, right? And we need to break down that food to get the energy. M,
Musculature.
Muscular.
muscular. When you look at muscle cells have only one movement when you apply a stimulus to it. What does a muscle do when you apply electrical stimulus to it? It will do what? Would it get longer or shorter?
Contract.
It gets shorter. Very good. That is all it does. And when you remove the stimulus, it returns to its original length. And that's all it does. Yeah, very good. And of course, muscle. Why do we need muscles? One word beginning with
Movement.
M. Movement. I like it.
Movement.
Right? You need muscles to move. Right? And of course, which two other organ systems would the muscular system interact with to bring about movement?
Yeah.
Skeleton.
The skeletal. I hear what you're saying, and you're not wrong when you say the cardiovascular. I was thinking about the nervous system and the muscle. But I hear what you're saying in terms of the cardiovascular, because you need to get that blood to get the ATP to the site of the different muscles. So I wouldn't be mad at you if you put cardiovascular system. That would be correct. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good way of looking at it. Let's move forward. R. Reproduction. What would happen if we didn't reproduce? Disappear. And the other R.
Respiratory.
Why do we need air? Why do we need oxygen?
Taking oxygen.
To break down food.
Right, very good. All right, good. We're going again. Question 9. Define the term homeostasis. Could somebody other than Natasha answer that question? No disrespect, Natasha. Yeah.
Is it the maintenance of the constant environment?
I like that. I like that. Maintenance.
I heard my name. I didn't.
The internal environment, right?
No, I said if somebody could answer it, but not Natasha. That's why I said Natasha. That's why I heard your name. I didn't want you to answer the question because you answered virtually everyone before. So that's why I said. That's why I heard your name called. Homeostasis, maintenance of that constant internal environment. As it relates to temperature, what is our core temperature in the body?
37
degrees Celsius.
Why do we need to keep it at 37 degrees Celsius? One word.
To be functional.
That is not one word. Give me 4. One word. Why do we need to keep it at 37 degrees Celsius? We need for it to keep it there because something happens at 37 degrees Celsius specifically. A word that begins with R.
Reaction.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Reactions in the body, chemical reactions, right? They occur. Our body has adapted to that temperature, 37, and that's a critical temperature. So if you fall outside of that range, that's why you don't feel too well, because a lot of the reactions in the body begin to shut down, right? So it's critical that we keep at 37 degrees Celsius because the majority, if not all of, in fact, nearly 99% of the reactions associated with metabolism, they occur at that temperature. All right? Good. 10, why do you think directional terms are important in healthcare?
Can I answer, sir?
Yes, you can.
Go ahead.
Directional terms provides precise description of a structure's location. They allow for a description of anatomical position by comparing location relative to other structures or within the rest of the body.
Right, right. And it's very important that everybody on the same page, right? So if somebody started talking in terms of speaking, it comes like, imagine you're talking to somebody and there's somebody from France, somebody from Nigeria, somebody from Botswana, somebody from Pakistan, somebody from New Delhi, somebody from Mumbai, somebody from, everybody speaking different languages. Would anything get accomplished? Absolutely not, right? Most of the time, everybody, somebody saying, okay, raise the patient left hand, and they're talking in Swahili. You have no idea what's going on. So what you do, you pull the person to. So obviously nothing will get done. So very importantly, one of the major reasons why directional terms are important is to ensure everybody knows what they're talking about for communication. And that becomes particularly useful in the theater, when you go in theater, right? In terms of directions and so on, all right? So that's very important there. So 11, 12, and 13, they come off of diagrams. So I wouldn't go into those three. Those three you could review for yourself. And let's see what's happening down here. The last one, the flashcards. Let's just see what comes up.
Oh, I did not do that one.
It's all good. Click, Control plus click. I'm doing it, but I ain't saying anything.
It's not open. Yeah, I'm not getting it. Open up here neither.
No, you didn't get it open on your side either. So what's the next? So what else should we do then if we're not getting it open?
Copy it,
Copy and paste it.
and paste, yeah.
Yeah, let's see if that works. Very, very intuitive there. Good problem solving skill. I want to finish by 5:30. I don't like to carry people beyond an hour. Right? Research has shown that your interest begins to decline significantly. In fact, after 15 minutes, yes, everything is starting to go downhill. And you start to hear blah, 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 meow, 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 meow. Okay? What? Are you agreeing? So since... Okay, let's see what's going on here.
Yeah, you got it
to
open?
paste it. No, I'm now pasting it in the thing in the browser window. Let me see if I'm getting it open now. No, I see. I getting Okay. Ooh, I hear you. Things getting boring. Fair enough. It's not opening, so I'll have to double check the site, and if need be, I'll send it to you. Let me take note of that.
So the site is working. You can right click it. You will see an option that says open the hyperlink.
Oh yes, it should.
Yeah, because I'm getting it open.
That's what I did.
What are you saying? Well, you live and you learn. I did not know about that. You're right, and I'm getting it open. What, you serious? Live and learn? It's life. Life is life. Life is life. I was trying to bring it over, and now it's embarrassing me. It doesn't want to come over. Oh, there's a nice little tingling here. So you could use this for revision. I was trying to bring it over. I don't know why it's not coming. Oh, here it is. Right? So this is what, you all seeing it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so there's reasons. So just click on it and just to view. I don't want to steal the thunder. And you could create flashcards as well.
I find it was a little bit too confusing.
Too confusing, I hear you. Yeah. Well, you know why you say when things too confusing?
Leave it alone.
Fire burn it, yeah, fire burn that. So if you find it too confusing, just leave it alone and go ahead making your normal cards. All right, so we'll stop here for today. So for this week, I would do two things I would like for you to do. If you were to go back to our, come on, you could do it. Come on. Right, so from the e-classroom, come on, right. So I wonder if you're all seeing that. You would see, well, for today, right, come beginning at 6, you will see the little, you will see this thing come up in terms of the quiz. I can tell you it's a practice quiz, right? So go ahead and just for the 20 minutes. So you'll be able to click here. When you click here, you'll see this thing come up, right? 20 minutes, 10 questions. Yeah, point taken, yeah. Somebody might have forgotten their mic on. I think there's a way to mute the mic.
Mute the whole class, yeah.
Looking for it. Speakers, I am mad at you. That happened to me in a meeting one time. Yeah, it's rather interesting. And when I was in school at one time, I always remember the professor had on one of the cordless mics, and he left the room to go in the staff room. It was hilarious. And he was talking and so on, and you heard him. It was just hilarious. But one of the...
I know that's, oh my God.
It's all good. No, yeah, I'm mad at you. It's all good.
Kids outside and we
I know. Hey, keep your eye on your kids. That's very important. Yeah. I'm not mad at you at all. All right, we'll skip with that. So just do this, like I say, you have between now 6 p.m. to midnight tonight, right? It's just a 20-minute. Just go through, just to get a feel for it. And from next class day, on every Tuesday, it would happen. You would see a quiz go up from 6 6 p.m. to midnight, for you just to go through it. So for this week, upcoming, you'll be going through this one, the body as a whole, in terms of molecules of life. Let me write it down. I will send the video for you. This video has already been made. Send video to class. You all have this video. Well, some people have it already. I would post it in WhatsApp. So when we...
This was the one we did first before we did the lecture 1, right?
Yeah. So some people might have it, some people might not. All right. Or what? Yeah. Why is that? Some people would want to share it, and some people would, can I put somebody responsible for putting it up, posting it, or reposting it in WhatsApp? You could do that. Somebody will do that. Yes. Just put, the link is there. You just have to, bring it down so that new people can see it. You know how to do that?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that just a link. Yeah. All right. Just
look for it in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah. So that just other people could see it. All right. Great.
Okay.
Thanks. All right. So the body as a whole, you'll be looking at it this week. So do look through the lecture notes, right? Go through the activity that is here. Let's have a look at this activity real quick. We'll be wrapping up in 3 minutes. Right, the atom, so it has some things, an atom is the smallest. October. There's some other things. Please add to the glossary by entering a term from the topic today, along with its definition or description. Okay? Do not repeat those entries that already exist. So you go through and, and just see if you could put in a new one. All right?
Okay.
Yes. Excuse so Diane, yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
The worksheet, right, the activity worksheet. So we are going to do it on Microsoft and email it to you. Like, is it like that?
Right. So for this week, we just went through the first one. So you don't have to worry about that one.
You don't have to do
For
this
next
one.
week, yeah. So the one which we just went through, you don't have to worry about it. Beginning this week, though, so you'll have to go through it and then bring it to class. Or, yeah, just bring it to class for now. If I send different instructions to email it to me, that'll be fine. But for now, just complete it. Make sure it's completed by 2 p.m. on Tuesday. All right?
What is that?
The worksheet, this worksheet here.
That we now went through.
Let me just, no.
The one that we
Okay.
just did?
Okay, so let me say it again, just to make sure everybody clear. We just went through a worksheet, yes?
Right.
This one?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oops, no, there's the quiz. Sorry, yes, no. Just to make sure everybody on the same page. Where is it, the worksheet? Right, we went through this activity worksheet.
Right.
You're not gonna do this one again. Right?
So that's the one we did today.
That's the one we did today, right? We went through this one, this for your own edification.
So I ticked off mine,
Excellent, good. As we go along, right. So we went through that one. Beginning for next class day, what you'll be going through is this. You see there's an activity here.
Activity, yes.
Let's click on it. It says activity. And then what it says is, please add to the glossary by entering a term from the topic today. In terms of the topic for today, 2 things I would say. 1, look through the lecture notes. Here's actually summary notes file. Because the lecture notes, it has, well, the lecture for the class is 81 slides, which is kind of much. So which will probably be easier will be to look through this. This is a shortened form of it. So I will send this to you. So look through, it will be easier. So look through the Unit 1, Week 2, Chemistry of Life Summary Notes file.
Chemistry of Life.
Summary Notes file.
Chemistry of Life.
Right, so you'll be looking through here where I just went. So you click on this, and this will be recorded so you can review it at your leisure. Right? And you go through here, and what you'll be doing, you're going to go through the document. And when you finish, go through the document, the second thing you'll be doing, you'll be clicking on the activity.
On the activity.
So after you finish, go through that too, then you click on the activity. So this one is actually pretty easy to see. And with this, what you're doing, you're going to add, entering a term from this topic together with the definition and description. All right. So
To add in my new entry.
correct. So you click on add a new entry, and I'm guessing something will come up, and you type in, right?
Type the
You type
answer.
in what it is there.
The subject, right?
Right. The subject is,
and
if it is like moles, right? And then you type in what a mole is.
Definition.
Okay.
Measure in chemistry. I'll just give you an example, right? And then when you finish, do that there, you just click save changes.
Save changes.
And then it will come up. I wouldn't do that because I don't want to enter it. No, I don't want to leave the site. So let me go through. Yeah.
So are we writing definition in our own words or the actual definition from the notes?
Either one will be fine. Either one. It will be better for you to actually put it in your own words, right? But if not, you could copy and paste. I wouldn't be mad at you if you did that. Okay? But it would be better to put it in your own words. That will show that you actually synthesize what's going on. Okay? Yes. All right, so we'd stop here for today. So that activity has to be completed by Tuesday of next week at 2 p.m. So completion time, Tuesday. Let me be a little more specific, right? Today's the 20th. So therefore, Tuesday the 27th at 2 p.m. That's when it becomes due. Okay? We good?
27th?
Yeah, which is Tuesday coming.
Okay, sir.
At 2 p.m.
So it must be submitted before.
Right. In terms of submitting, yeah, you'll be posting it here. So you see how we went through this? And when you do post it, your name will come up. So I will know. And it actually, I do believe it gives a timestamp as well. Go ahead.
So if you want to do it before.
This lecture, right? This molecule lecture that you sent to guys.
Just now coming to you, Natasha.
It was sent via email only.
No. I'm not hearing you. Could you repeat your question, please?
The molecules one that we did first, the molecules of life, right? That you said if we could send to just copy it back to the WhatsApp group so everybody would have it. I'm not seeing the WhatsApp group, but I'm seeing it as a link in my email.
Okay, could you say it again?
Please.
Oh.
Hello?
So for the new I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Hello? Let me see if I understand you correctly. In terms of for the new students, for them to see the video for this week, yeah, it will be posted. So the video for this week, in terms of my lecture, yeah, it will be posted in WhatsApp. So you'll see it. It's a YouTube video.
I'm not talking about this week. Remember, you said the unit 2. We did this already. The week 2, the molecules of life. Right? So you said it wasn't sent us again because you did it already.
No, I didn't say I wasn't. Hold on. I didn't say I wasn't going to send it again. When I said I wasn't going to send it, I was referring to there are some students whom I went through with it already. So they would already have a copy. So for those who didn't have a copy, it would be reposted in the WhatsApp group. That's what I meant.
Yeah, because it's not in the WhatsApp group. Not the...
So, right. So what I am saying, I'll say it again. So it's not there currently. One of your colleagues has agreed to repost the link. All right. So within I would say a couple, before the end of the night, you would see the link there to the YouTube video. I will double check. If it's not there, I would post it again. Right? The YouTube
link down there already.
It's there already. So to answer your question, it's already there. Okay? Thanks very much. In terms of whomsoever posted it. Okay? Good. Now somebody else was asking a question. Natasha, was it?
Yeah. No,
I was just asking if it could have been done before.
Yes. So you don't have to wait until Tuesday, the 27th at 2 p.m. to post it. You can do it tonight if you want. You can do it tomorrow. Anytime between now, I just saying the deadline is Tuesday, the 27th at 2 p.m. But in terms of doing it, you could do it anytime from now until then. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Any other question?
So I wanted to know when assessment 1 will be.
Oh, well, since this is the second class, because we had to restart in order to accommodate new students, some of whom came in a little late because of CXC and so on in registration process. So it's a little ways off. How you could check on it, if you go to, if you notice here, okay, you're looking, yes, I hear voices, right? The biology 171 syllabus is here. Yes, to the person who
Yes,
asked the
sir.
question. All right, to the person who okay, I'll just state it because like they're not following me. So the person who asked the question about the timing, if you go to the biology syllabus here, on the first page, it will have the dates, you know, where regarding the assessments. Now it might be a little change because seeing that we started late. So usually I would give you at least 2 weeks buffer, you know. So it's not like I will come and tell you, hey, next week is the assessment. It will not matter. I usually will give you at least 2 weeks where that is concerned. But by next class day, I would send out, I've written it down, send out a schedule for the class, okay? Exam schedule.
Okay, sir.
Because it has changed, I am sure. So if you look at this one, I'm sure it's changed because of the fact that the dates changed. Send out the exam schedule for class, okay? That's a very good question. So you'll know how to study and so on. Of course, everything will be online as opposed to us regarding those assessments. Anything else? Well, if there's
So
nothing.
if we call you, would we get you?
No. I say that in jest. Yes, you would. Did I give you, on the first day, did I give you all my office hours and so on? On day one?
No, sir.
I didn't mention anything like that.
you did, sir.
Yes,
Check
you
back,
did,
check
sir.
back on the first
On your
video.
office hours.
Or check on the first video. All right, you go back to the first YouTube. I want to say I stated it, and there are hours you could call me if you want to talk with me on the phone. Yes, I want to say I did give them. So double check that. If you're not getting it, send my email that's saying otherwise, and I'll post it.
Sir.
Okay, but that's something I'll post as well. So I'll take note of that to post more office hours.
You know, sometimes you
But
have little
notwithstanding that, in terms of that, I am available. Some of you all might be aware. If you hit my email, usually it would get answered before the end of the day. I'm a night person, so a good time to catch me online is actually during the night.
Okay.
Anytime between, it might sound weird, but anytime between 10 and 2, right? Anytime around there. But notwithstanding that, during the course of the day, yes. And if you want to talk with me on the phone, yes, you could call and, you know, I want to say I mentioned some hours, so I'll have to back check that and then I'll post it and let you know what are those hours that you can reach me by phone. I gave you all my phone number. You all know my phone number?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all of that on the ting-ling-ling. There you go. All right.
No, sir.
Look at the other video, the first video, the one from last week, and you'll see it has information concerning that. Anything else? Well, it seems that that is it for today. So, in terms of Diane Ketwaru, Roxanne, Anjali, Aviel, Danielle, is it not, is Miss Ragu? I'm trying to remember your name.
Dory.
Dory. Believe me, I was seeing the cartoon character relating it to her, but just the name wasn't hitting me. Yeah, so Dory, Diane Kedwaru, Kaela, Roxanne, Anjali, Aviel, Danielle, I call those names already, Diana, Felicia, Janelle, Camille, Kezzy, Kimberly, Lucille, Ravina, Chandel, Shania, Swinela, and Vishni. Thank you much for coming. Has been my distinct pleasure. And all the best for the week. Catch you all next week. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.